Alright guys, Jay Turner back here. I'm under the Jeep today at American Running Garage. I just recently installed this oil pan skid plate. You know, you always hear the nightmares of people puncturing their oil pans or denting them. So we've got lucky last couple outings, so I decided to go ahead and add this guy on. So this Jeep that I put this on is a 2004 Jeep Wrangler 4.0 automatic. It does matter a little bit because this oil pan cover goes for several years from the LJs to the TJs. So how you put it on is gonna be a little bit different. There's an extra bracket. So this is the bottom of the bracket here. Make sure that when you put this on, that you put the bracket as a curvature to it. You really can't see it that much. There you go. There's a good angle of it. It has a curvature right here. Do not put this on the outside. I made that mistake. The instructions are not really clear of how to even mount this bracket. It just says make sure that your mounting holes into the bell housing use this bracket, but it doesn't say to go inside or outside. So I first went inside and I couldn't mount it up the rest of the way, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. So inside. Now your bell housing, they do give you new metric. This is where your metric bolts are going to go, is into this housing. They're I think 10.9. You want to put one washer on the inside between the two so it doesn't mess up this thin plate on your bell housing. Then the bracket, I had to use 2 washers and then tighten it down to 35 foot-pounds. It's the exact same. So this is your transmission right here. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, there's only 2 bolts. Now, if you have a manual, there's gonna be 3 bolts and there's gonna be a bolt in the middle. So it's gonna be down here. You're not gonna touch that one. All right, so here comes the real pain in the butt part. I'm gonna try to show you guys. Hopefully. All right, so right there, I'm going to try to put some light on this so you can see it a little bit better. Right there is where you mount it to the top. So here, you know, your exhaust system, your catalytic converters, and then right above you have these 2 lines. I'll try to get my hand in there, it's real tight. Right there. Okay, you can kind of see it. I'm going to wiggle them a little bit. Those are your transmission cooler lines. You're gonna have to push those out of the way. Now, this was a pain in the butt because this hole that this bolt goes into, now this is a grade 8 bolt, you can tell by the markings on the back. So this is a standard, it's a 9/16. Doesn't really explain that in the instructions either. They give you a bag of miscellaneous hardware and kind of say, this goes here, if you have this Jeep, it goes here, if you have this model, it goes here. So it gets a little confusing. But there's already a pre-existing hole here. But it does say to clean out the hole. Like this Jeep's almost 20 years old, so there's all types of gunk in there. I had to spray it with PB Blaster, and then I took a scribe, cleaned it out, then I took a smaller bolt, ran it through there to try to clean the threads out. And then it just took a while to clean out. And then it tells you, oh, if it's too long, use a couple different washers. So I ended up using 3 washers and a lock washer, and this goes down to 35 foot-pounds as well, and that's what actually got it to set, was 35 foot-pounds. Now we'll scoot right to the other side. This side was a little bit easier to work with. You can see it's right underneath the oil filter. But again, you have to clean that hole out really good, and I had to use 3 washers and a lock washer, so that way I wouldn't run out of bolt or shank out. Basically, there was just too much bolt. The bolts that they give you are a little long, and it does tell you in the instructions you might have to add extra washers. And then down here, you can see where the other bolt at the top goes into the bell housing right there, and that's 35. So, yep, look, you can see the 10.9. So when it says metric bolts, your metrics are going to be numbered 10.9. Well, any 8.8 or whatever, but for this particular one, it's 10.9. And when it says use your grade 8 bolts, they're going to have the stripes on the back, and there'll be 5 stripes on the back. Just in case you didn't know that. All right, and that's how you install the oil pan. It did take a little bit of time. It's really tight under my Jeep, and I have a 3 1/4 lift on it. I don't have the biggest tires in the world, but I felt like adding this on for a little extra added protection. All right, Another tip from American Running Garage. Y'all have fun Jeeping.